Now you would ask that why it is important. And a few years back there was an article in Nature Outlook, and it says that unless you think of some commercialization angle into this research beyond publications, impact factors are important. But what Professor Flora mentioned, that you are going into the patent era. And patent era means you are entering the era of commercialization, and that's where the whole game is. And today everybody is looking for the economic value for your research. Everyone is looking for. And nothing bad in terms of creation of wealth through this route. What is so bad about it? And we should really think about it very, very seriously. This has not been to several examples. I'll give you one example, very correct example. The Department of Biotechnology is promoting bioeconomy through various means. And one of the very famous means you all must have learned about BIRAC. And BIRAC supports several projects and it tries to develop entrepreneurship. Just to give you a flavor, that Indian government is very pro to this concept of bioeconomy, and various efforts are being done at the ministerial level. And you all can go through this BIRAC site and you will learn more about BIRAC, what this BIRAC is all about. Secondly, I would like to give you some examples, some top examples of some companies. This BIRAC, these are not what I wanted to emphasize. This is not something very theoretical. Because it's a PDF format, right? So, just wanted to give you an example that when we talk about bioeconomy through some of these resources, it is not something hypothetical. Actually, it has existed. You see a range of companies, and during this COVID time, you must have learned a lot about the Serum Biotech India Limited, and it's one of the topmost companies, very fine example of bioeconomy in this particular area. Biocon, you all must have heard about that Biocon company. I think what better example of bioeconomy better than Biocon is. And similarly in various other fields, whether you talk of agrobiotechnology, bioinformatics, you have range of companies. And when we have a vision that India bioeconomy has to attain more than 100 billion by 2025, unless these companies come forward, and what Professor Dua is also leading that company, these are the companies which are adding to the bioeconomy of this country and adding Atmanirbharta, what we all are talking about nowadays. And after this COVID time, it has become all the more important. Now, how do we do? I'll give you a few examples that how we entered this area of bioeconomy through some of these Himalayan bioresources. Right? So we have range of resources. Whether you have medicinal aromatic plants, you have algae, fungi, all these bioresources are there in Himalayas. And then you have all various technological platforms. You all have chemical technology and biotechnology, bioinformatics. I was listening all the various platforms today what Professor Flora was mentioning. Then we make a marry of these two different things and try to develop some products. And through incubations, entrepreneurship development and startups, we try to develop some bioeconomy. And I'll give you some examples of that now. And why Himalayas? You may ask me. If you see this whole, track, northern part of our country, this whole track is Himalayas. And in whole Himalaya, you have 9,000 flowering plants, out of which approximately 1,800 species have got wellness value. Although theoretically you will say that each plant has some or the other, but which will find, in the pharmaceutical industry around 1,800 plants, and just in Western Himalayan region, we have around 700 plant species. Now, question is, if you have so many plants, where to focus, what to focus, that becomes very important. And what should be our path, which path we should walk up. So we thought there should be 4 ways how we should walk this path of bioeconomy. First, very fundamental thing should be that we should have been able to document and propagate some of these plants that we target. That's our fundamental thing. And using all sorts of technological issues. Second, that we should be able to develop crystallized extract and bioactive compound. And I am sure that NIPER nothing better than NIPER will have very significant role into that. I'll give you that example also. And then once you have all this data, then you have to do some animal model testing. And once you have that test, then you can go for human trials, right? So apparently it looks 4 or 5 different things, but they all go hand in hand together and make an impact in the society. Now you may ask me which areas to focus, and here I'll tell you, we had a discussion with some of our industrial partners into this area, and it was not a one-day meeting. It was, it spent over several weeks together. And our pharmaceutical industrial partners said that if you had to focus into this area, there should be at least 4 or 5 different areas where you should all focus. For example, bone health, they said it's very critical these days. Second, they suggested that nutrition, malnutrition is very critical issue that we need to focus upon. Central nervous system, everybody is stressed. So central nervous system, they don't get proper sleep. Then non-communicable diseases, particularly your diabetes and heart cardiac related diseases, cognition and immunity. So these were the areas that they identified that if you can use and contribute something in this area, you can add a lot into this pharmaceutical sciences. And just one data I would like to share with you, and why I wanted to share this slide, just as an example, that while we all are doing PhDs and masters, we should think what is the unmet need of the country and where we should focus upon. If you are able to identify on unmet need of the nation, unmet need of the society, I think you make a big contribution. I give you an example. Everybody consumes hing in his house. Anybody who does not know hing or asafoetida in this house? Everybody knows it. And without him, you can't have a good dal. You all know it, right? Now, you will be wondering, India does not produce even a gram of hing. We never produce even a gram of hing in this country. And your pharmaceutical sciences, everyone uses hing as, whenever they have to treat with stomach disorder. So this one lacuna we identified. So we introduced hing in this country by developing proper agrotechnology. Now we have all the data with proper improvement, but then it made a very big hit. And when we talk to the people said we never realized that India does not grow hing, and we talk of Atmanirbharta. So one South Indian commented to us, I never knew that my sambar is also imported. And if a country like Afghanistan does not support me, my sambar cannot be made. Right? So sometimes these things also happen. So my request to all the youngsters would be that they should identify which area our country is lacking behind and we should try to strengthen. Just one example, I thought I'll just give you a quote about that. Now, how we do it? So in our plant world, unless we make a database, so we have digitalized all this information. So various type of databases we have created like Flores, Campus. And advantage of this database is that whenever we want to understand which plant does what molecule it has, we immediately go to that computer and we can retrieve the information. It becomes very fast. So something very fundamental. Now what happened is, once we discussed with our industrial partners and when everybody said that bone health is a major issue, then we realized, after the age of 35 or so, you start facing destruction of cartilage. Am I right or not? Almost everybody's knees are gone by that age, and it is almost understood. And in Himachal, there was a general proverb, and proverb said that if you have 2 or 3 different plant species together, those names are given here, you will never have this problem. And we wanted to understand, is there any truth in that or not? And we wanted to have some scientific base on that. So we, through the Ayurvedic knowledge, through our traditional knowledge, we made all these plant species together. And what we did, for example, you can see, so we took 2 different plant species, sizes quadrangularis, adjod we call it in Hindi, and Vitex nigrandula, Ulumandil bada we call it in Hindi. So these 2 plant species had this property. So we did complete metabolism profiling, this phytopharmaceutical group. I think this gathering does not need need any description of that phytopharma role, but now we have the complete metabolic profile. We know which compound this plant has. Once we knew this, then we tested it in a model, a rat model, wherein using iodoacetate you destroy the cartilage, and then you study various parameters, for example, NOS, COX2, etc. You all are aware of this numbers. And what interesting thing, this is our control where you destroy, this cartilage is there, but here you can see cartilage is totally destroyed, and the moment you put this white excess is restored. And this was something phenomenal. Even in allopathic, you do not have a cure for stopping the destruction of cartilage, and here you guys are having the solution. And now we knew the complete pathway, how it is done. I am not going into the detail, but once we knew the pathway, how this is working, we knew the complete thing. Now when we startup in Jalandhar, it has come up. So we signed an MOU with that startup, and that startup has started making this particular formulation, both edible as well as application, and this formulation will be available to you very soon. So just to give you this example, that we started with some basic knowledge, we verified the animal model, then we transferred this technology, we patented it, published, publication is under process, we give second priority to the publication. After patenting, we did the technology transfer. Now industry is in progress, and that's the route to bioeconomy I wanted to give you an example. Now, once we talk of any bone health, this was something very needed, that we need to have something to avoid cartilage destruction. Now, what we need, another thing is vitamin D. Do we have a bioavailable source of vitamin D? That was the question. And then we saw the literature that what could be done. We realized that there is a mushroom known as shiitake mushroom. But the problem with that, and here you can have the vitamin D as per your choice. You can modulate the concentration, right? But the problem there was, it was grown in the north. There was no way you could cultivate that. So you wanted some cultivation method. So now our institute developed a technology that within 2 months you can have the mushroom cultivation inside a room, right? And once we had that, now we knew that with that mushroom, we optimized it so that you can have vitamin D2 as you needed it, right? We did bioavailability assays. We knew now that this vitamin D2 is bioavailable. Once we had all this data, then very interesting thing we did. We developed a cluster of 750 people, and they were supported through MSME, and now 750 people are making this mushroom, right? So apart from vitamin D, they are also supplying in various focus and vendors. So they have a dual method of generating the resources. So very simple thing. Now we developed it for bone health, but it ended up in developing the entrepreneurship, right? So very good example of bioeconomy, right? Now I'll give you third. So for bone health, cartilage destruction. Second was this calcium and source of vitamin D. And third thing, very important mineral, that is zinc. Zinc, it's important in COVID also, but also for bone health we needed zinc. Now what should be the source of zinc? One can say that mineral source of zinc is good, but is that zinc bioavailable? So what should be the biological resource for the zinc? And we realized that there is a algae known as spirulina, and if you use this algae, you can meet the zinc requirement. And you can have as much zinc as you want into this algae, and you can play with that. So we developed this formulation out of it, right from powder to capsule to, like gulpi chicky as you eat during winters. So you eat gulpi chicky and you get your zinc requirement done. So third thing we did for bone health in a bioavailable format through algae. So you can see we use algae, fungi, plant, all these bioresources, ensure the bioavailability of the desired molecule, and we developed entrepreneurship. Now there are 4 entrepreneurs who are developing these products, right? So again the route is the same. First we develop the technology, give it to the entrepreneurs, and they are making good money. disaster in Odisha, there was disaster in Bengal, there was disaster in Kerala, and we made various products out of this algae and mushroom, and we supplied to them, like energy bar and that format. So while they were getting energy, they were also getting the nutrition side. So I am giving you one offshoot, an example of this particular algae. Right? Now, fourth thing that you needed for bone health was protein, right? And I don't want to give the name of a particular brand. You will have a series of protein resources. But you imagine your childhood days, particularly in Bihar and in Eastern UP and in highways, what people eat, they eat sattu. And what is there in sattu? आपने कृष्ण की कहानी पढ़ी होगी, सुदामा भी सत्तू लेकर आए थे उनके पास. अब आप सोचिए, सत्तू लेकर आए थे तो कुछ तो बात होगी सत्तू में. That is one of the richest source of protein what you can think of. I don't want to name any brand, but if you really want good protein, bioavailable protein, so we optimize the concentration which has all series of the amino acids together, which meets all your requirement, and you have it. So again, entrepreneurs are there to take care of this protein problem. So now we have end-to-end almost solution for bone health, right? From cartilage destruction to vitamin D to zinc to the protein. And now that entrepreneur and startup who is taking this, now he has a complete solution. He knows that if he comes to IHBT using these resources, and all our products, all are using the relevant values. Another point I would like to discuss upon, and which is very actually dear to all our pharmaceutical people, that is chlorhexidine. You all must have heard about this plant, and we feel that it's a panacea. This species is a panacea. Now, when we started working in this plant, it has got a molecule known as nitroside, and in nitroside, you have this terpene moiety, and terpene you add cinnamate, then it becomes nitroside 1. If you add vanillate, it becomes nitroside 2. These are the two important molecules in this plant. Now, one of the things that we address is how we can propagate this plant species, and we use all sorts of technologies. Like for example, here I am showing you hydroponic and aeroponic technology to propagate, and here we can reduce the time significantly from 3 and bring it to the lab. There is no sterilization, and what we did, we connected those wild plant harvesters with our labs, and now they become cultivators, and now they know that if they sell to any industry, they make more money, right? So here I am telling you, everywhere we are trying to attach that there is no harm in developing economy. Ultimately, we all are doing in this lab, we all are working to generate some economy. And it is a natural way of economy, so what is bad about it? So these guys, you are seeing these people. Now they are very well attached with our institute. They, through tissue culture, we multiply it, we take the field, and they have now their own fields. This is one part of the story. Now, second part, what do they do with these plants, right? So we have to give them certain, for entrepreneurship development, unless you have some proof, it's very difficult. And this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it is one of the most prevalent diseases. And you all are aware, for this liver, I think allopathy does not have much answer. And answer has to come only from your plant resources. And this is one such plant resource, and very clear example, we have shown that, in particularly in this disease model, in zebrafish model we have taken here, if you give the zebrafish this high fructose, there is accumulation of fats into the liver. But the moment you have this hydroalcoholic extract of the chlorhexidine, you can see that fat almost disappears. And my personal experience is that we know several people who are being given the chemotherapy, and when we give them this chlorhexidine roots, I think their liver that is the only portion that this particular herb, it just maintains them, just clears their liver. And your liver is okay, you take care of all the heart diseases. So such a beautiful example, this particular plant species is. And that's second beautiful thing we saw about this plant, it is so helpful in driving the beta cells in the pancreas. You know, you destroy beta cells by, you know, this streptozotocin, you all are aware. And you give this picorazole extract, hydroalcoholic extract, it just revives the beta cells in the pancreas. It improves the insulin production, right? So, one plant, while at one hand it functions on liver, on the other hand it also can improve your sugar levels. That's the advantage of this species. Third thing, this can also improve your renal damage. You see, one plant species, what wonder the nature has got. It is the same picroside, while they can improve your liver, they can improve the beta cells in the pancreas, and they can also avoid any renal damage. Right? So your kidney is protected. And we work out the whole pathway. I don't want to give into the details of those pathways. You all are aware of those pathways, but we work out those pathways. So the point here is, and now one company is coming forward to take as a panacea sort of medicine out of the picorazole. So already with Ayurvedic college trials are going on, and very soon, right now, entrepreneur is not for this species, but very soon the entrepreneurship, next time when we discuss sometime, I'll tell you that already entrepreneurs have come. So that's the power of pharmaceutical sciences, which can actually change the face, the way we are treating our human being. That's what my point is. Another plant I wanted to highlight, there is one ginkgo biloba. And particularly all our elders, not all, but several of our elders, they have some problem or the other, either Alzheimer's disease or some diseases during, as they age. Now, what solution we can provide? That has been, one of our answers. And so we did some experiment in this particular case, and you can see in this neurobehavioral all experiment, the particularly luminal fraction of this plant works like wonder, right? So all our elders, suppose when they are taking a morning walk, they put their one ginkgo biloba leaf in their mouth. I think that gives enough which can keep your brain very healthy. So these are some, once you have this such experimental evidences, then it adds a lot of value. Right? Now we know the whole pathway, how this one works, and we know that it works function through mTOR pathway, and we know it, right? And this work is again published and patented both. And our talks are at very advanced stage for again putting the entrepreneurship around this. One more herb I want to tell you, that is saffron, kesar. You know, in kesar, there is a thing that in India, kesar can be grown, it can only be grown in Kashmir. And we were always wondered why it is only Kashmir. There are so many areas which are like Kashmir. You go to Himachal, you go to Uttarakhand, you go to Northeast, right? So many areas. And across the world you see this plant growing in Spain and all those countries. So why can't, so our Nara was, can we get the kesar beyond Kashmir? That's what we used to think, that we had to bring it beyond Kashmir. But then there the bottleneck was, you don't have the